It's Wednesday the 20th of July and welcome to From the South. Hundreds celebrated the Constitutional Court's approval of a popular referendum on the country's peace deal. After almost 8 hours of deliberations, the government approved the plebiscite. Representatives of Black Lives Matter travelled to Rio de Janeiro to meet with activists to address racist police brutality in Brazil ahead of the Olympic Games in Rio. Both groups will march on Saturday to remember the 1993 La Candelaria massacre in Rio. The Chilean government have today announced that Bolivian authorities will now require visas to enter their country. This follows the unauthorized visit of the Bolivian Foreign Minister, David Choquehuanca. The Foreign Minister led unauthorized inspections of Chilean ports. 1 year after restoring diplomatic ties, the United States and Cuba are still far from normalizing their relationship. Embassies have opened in both countries, but the financial and trade embargo on Cuba still remains. Turkey's High Board of Education has banned all academics from travelling abroad until further notice. The latest measure follows on the heels of a failed military coup which has prompted a wide-ranging purge of state institutions. On Monday, over 1,500 deans were forced to resign. Award-winning journalist Pavel Sheremet was killed in a car bomb explosion in Ukraine's capital of Kiev. Sheremet, who was driving his partner's car, was on his way to work to anchor a talk show. He was known for his outspoken criticism of the leadership of Belarus, his home country. According to President François Hollande, 3 French soldiers were killed in a helicopter accident in Libya. The accident occurred during an intelligence gathering mission in the North African state. They are the first confirmed Western military casualties since it became known this year that special forces were operating on the ground in Libya. British Prime Minister Theresa May says the UK will not begin official negotiations on leaving the EU this year. May had made the announcement from Germany, where she held talks with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Theresa May said it would take time to secure a sensible and orderly departure from the European Union.
Syria's crisis is hitting its economy hard with instability in exchange rates and inflation on the rise. But many citizens hope the new government, which lead the constitutional oath before President al-Assad aerial this month and had most of the changes in economic team and in the ministries of services, can implement emergency solutions to resolve the increasing financial issues.
We call on the new government to look into the problems of citizens and to look at the basic needs experienced by citizens, particularly in light of rising prices and under the suffocating crisis which has affected everyone here.
In spite of everything in Syria over the past 5 years, fortunately there haven't been any interruptions in access to basic materials, particularly despite the lack of consumers. But analysts say the problem is that middle class is beginning to fall into poverty.
The problems begin with the high prices that are shaking the lives of citizens. From there we can say that the higher income earners have not been affected like the middle to lower classes. By my calculations, I wonder how those who earn between 30,000 and 40,000 Syrian pounds can live under such suffocating inflation.
The fact that there are no accurate numbers and percentage by statistical centers about the number of Syrians who have become under the poverty line, but certainly and by studies that the unemployment rate exceeded 40%. That's according to the Central Bureau of Statistics. Hazem Abdullah, teleSur's, Syria.
Some 12,000 people have fled South Sudan over the border into Uganda on Tuesday. This was part of an evacuation operation by the Ugandan military. Many of the evacuees were Ugandan traders. There were also other nationalities, including citizens of South Sudan, who fear a resurgence of violence within the country. Israeli occupation forces have killed a 12-year-old Palestinian boy in Al-Ram in the northeast part of occupied Jerusalem. The boy was shot by a rubber-coated steel bullet in the chest, and it caused him cardiac arrest.
A young Palestinian boy was killed Tuesday evening during clashes with Israeli troops in the town of Aram, northeast of Jerusalem in the central occupied West Bank. A spokesman for the Palestinian Health Ministry said that 12-year-old Muhyi Atbahi died of wounds that he inflicted by a rubber coastal steel bullet that struck his chest and caused him heart failure. Clashes erupted in Aram after Israeli troops raided the town, as Palestinian youths hurled stones and empty barrels at Israeli soldiers. The soldiers responded by opening live fire, tear gas bombs, and rubber coastal steel bullets, causing several injuries among the protesters.
Israeli forces deliberately attack Palestinian children and commit war crimes. At the same time, Israel doesn't pursue criminals who commit crimes against the Palestinians. Israeli settlers have burned the Al-Dawabsha family's home for the second time. If the criminals have been tried the first time, they burn alive the whole family, the father, the mother, and the son. No one will dare to repeat the same crime again.
Israel has killed at least 204 Palestinians since tensions broke out throughout the occupied territories in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip last October. Of this number, 138 were allegedly attacked. The others died in clashes and protests which occur on an almost daily basis. Palestinian attacks have so far killed 33 Israelis and 2 visiting US citizens. According to Israeli officials, Palestinian attacks, including shooting, car ramming, and stone throwing against Israelis, have significantly subsided over the past few months. Noor Harazin, teleSur's TV, Palestine.
4 volcanic islands situated off the Pacific coast of Mexico have been added to the UNESCO World Heritage List. The Revillagigedo archipelago were previously categorized by UNESCO as a biosphere reserve, but their status was upgraded on Sunday by the organization's World Heritage Committee. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.